There is a restaurant in Vienna where, in 1927, a psychologist noticed something strange. She was sitting with colleagues, eating dinner, observing the waiters as they moved between tables. What struck her was this. The waiters could take orders for 8, 10, 12 people without writing a single thing down. No notepad, no phone, no memorization tricks. They just listened, walked to the kitchen, and repeated every order perfectly. Soups, entrees, drinks, modifications, all of it, flawlessly recalled. But here is the part that made her stop eating and start investigating. As soon as the food was delivered and the check was paid, the waiters could not remember a single thing about that table. Not what they ordered, not how many people were there, nothing. It was as if the information had been erased from their minds the moment the transaction completed. The psychologist was Bluma Zeigarnik, and what she discovered that night would become one of the most powerful and least understood forces in human psychology. Your brain does not care about finished business. It deletes it. But unfinished business, it holds on to that, like a grieving parent holds on to a photograph. The Zeigarnik Effect is the reason you cannot stop thinking about the conversation you did not finish. It is the reason you remember the movie you never saw the ending of better than the movie you watched all the way through. It is the reason the task at the back of your mind that you have been avoiding for weeks drains more energy than the 10 tasks you actually completed today. Your mind is not designed to remember. It is designed to resolve. And until you understand this, you will keep fighting your own brain. You will call yourself lazy for being exhausted by unfinished work. You will call yourself broken for lying awake at night, replaying conversations that ended badly. You will call yourself weak for feeling the weight of things you have not done. You are none of those things. You are a human being running on a biological circuit that demands closure. And that circuit is running your life without your permission. Let me explain what Bluma Zeigarnik actually found. She went back to her laboratory and designed a simple experiment. She gave participants a series of tasks, puzzles, arithmetic problems, manual tasks, simple things that took a few minutes each. But she did not let them finish all of them. Some tasks were interrupted before completion. Others were allowed to run to the end. After the session, she asked the participants to recall as many tasks as they could, and the result was stark. People remembered the interrupted tasks nearly twice as often as the completed ones. The unfinished tasks stayed in memory. The finished ones evaporated. This is not a quirk of personality. This is not a sign of an anxious mind. This is the default state of the human brain. It is a fundamental feature of how your mind processes reality. When you start a task, your brain creates a mental file. It opens it, labels it, and begins working on it in the background. The tension of incompletion keeps that file active. When you finish the task, the file closes, the tension releases, and the brain moves on. But when you do not finish, when you interrupt the task, when you leave it hanging, that file stays open. It stays active. It consumes mental bandwidth, whether you are aware of it or not. This is why you feel more tired on days when you have done nothing than on days when you completed 10 tasks. The open files drain you. The closed ones free you. Every unfinished email, every unreturned message, every decision you postponed, every conversation you avoided, every goal you set but did not take action on, every single one of these is an open file in your mind, and your brain is spending energy keeping them open. Now, here is where this gets interesting and a little unsettling. The Zeigarnik Effect is not just about productivity. It is about how you process your entire life. Think about the last argument you had that did not reach a resolution. The one where you walked away still feeling unheard, still feeling like you had more to say. How many times did that argument replay in your mind over the following days? How many times did you imagine what you should have said, what you could have said, what you would say if you could go back, That is the Zeigarnik Effect. Your brain refuses to release the memory because the interaction was not resolved. It holds onto it, turning it over, re-examining it, trying to find a way to close the file. And it will keep doing this until the resolution comes, either through actual closure or through the sheer exhaustion of your mind finally giving up. Now think about the goals you have set for yourself. The big ones, the ones that matter, the ones you wrote down and then did nothing about. Every single one is an open file. Every single one is draining your mental energy. Every single one is keeping you from being fully present in the moment, because part of your brain is still working on it in the background. You are not lazy. You are overloaded with open files. There is a reason why serialized content is so addictive. Netflix figured this out years ago. Every episode of a good series ends on a cliffhanger, not because the writers are cruel, but because the cliffhanger triggers the Zeigarnik Effect. The episode ends, but the story is not resolved. The file is open. Your brain demands closure. So you click next episode, and next, and next. You are not binge-watching. You are being driven by a biological need to close open files. Game designers know this too. Every quest, every level, every achievement system is built around the Zeigarnik Effect. You cannot walk away from a game at 97% completion. The file is open. The tension is unbearable. You stay until the file closes. And here is the most important thing you need to understand. You can use this. You are not a victim of this mechanism. You can hack it. The most powerful productivity method in the world is not the Pomodoro technique. It is not getting things done. It is not morning routines or bullet journals or any of the systems that productivity gurus sell you. The most powerful productivity method is this. Start something and do not finish it. Let me repeat that, because it is going to sound like the opposite of what every self-help book has told you. Start something and deliberately do not finish it. Leave it incomplete. Walk away from it while your brain is still hungry for resolution. Here is why this works. When you start a task, the Zeigarnik Effect creates tension. Your brain wants to close that file. If you finish the task in one sitting, the tension releases and the brain moves on. But if you stop in the middle, the tension stays. It remains active, and it will pull you back to that task more powerfully than any motivation, any discipline, or any deadline ever could. This is the secret that prolific creators understand. They do not finish their work in one sitting. They start, they build momentum, and then they stop at a point where the next step is obvious. They leave the file open, and when they come back the next day, the Zeigarnik Effect pulls them back in immediately. No warm-up, no resistance, no staring at a blank page. The open file calls to them, and they simply follow. There is a famous story about Ernest Hemingway. He would always stop writing for the day when he knew what came next. He would be in the middle of a sentence, knowing exactly how it would end, and he would stop. He would walk away, and the next morning, the Zeigarnik Effect would pull him back into the story with full momentum. He did not waste time deciding what to write. The open file told him. Now apply this to your own life. You have been trying to finish things. That is your mistake. The goal is not to finish. The goal is to start, to create enough tension that your brain demands the finish on its own. If you want to write a book, do not sit down and try to write a chapter. Sit down and write one sentence. One sentence. Then stop. Walk away. I guarantee you will come back within an hour because the open file will pull you. That one sentence is incomplete. Your brain will not rest until the paragraph is done, then the section, then the page. If you want to start exercising, do not try to complete a full workout. Put on your shoes. Do one stretch. Then stop. The tension of the incomplete action will pull you back. Unquote. You will find yourself doing the second stretch before you have made a conscious decision to continue. This is not manipulation. This is working with your biology instead of against it. But the Zeigarnik Effect cuts both ways. And this is where most people get stuck. The same force that can pull you toward completion can also trap you in loops of unfinished business. Every unresolved conflict, every abandoned project, every goal you set and forgot creates an open file. And those open files do not just sit there quietly. They consume energy. They generate background anxiety. They keep you from sleeping deeply because your brain is still trying to resolve them. This is why people who have many unfinished projects feel exhausted even when they are doing nothing. Their minds are running multiple open files simultaneously. It is like having 20 browser tabs open at all times. Even the ones you are not looking at are consuming memory. The solution is not to finish everything. That is impossible. The solution is to deliberately close the files that do not matter. You must learn to kill your open files intentionally. If a project is not serving you, cancel it. Officially, out loud, tell yourself, I am not going to finish this. I am closing this file. The release you feel when you make that decision is real. It is your brain releasing the tension of incompletion. If a conversation did not reach resolution, resolve it in your imagination. Neville Goddard taught this as revision. Close the file internally, even if the external situation remains open. Your brain does not know the difference between a real resolution and an imagined one. It only knows that the tension has been released. If you have a list of goals that you set months ago and never touched, delete the list, burn it, close the file. The energy you will free up is more valuable than the guilt of leaving them unfinished. Now let me give you the practical method, the exact protocol for using the Zeigarnik Effect in your life. Number 1. Identify your open files. Sit down with a piece of paper and write down every unfinished task, every unresolved conflict, every abandoned project, every goal you set and did not act on. Do not judge them, just list them. This act alone will reduce the mental load because you are moving the open files from your working memory to an external system. Your brain can relax. Number 2. Categorize them. 3 categories: finish, delete, defer. Finish the ones that truly matter. Delete the ones that do not. Defer the ones that need a specific future time and set a date for them. Every file must be in one of these 3 categories. No files left in limbo. Number 3. For the files you choose to finish, use the interruption method. Do not try to finish them in one sitting. Start them, build momentum, then stop at a point where the next step is obvious. Leave the file open deliberately. Let the Zeigarnik Effect pull you back. Number 4. For the files you cannot resolve externally, resolve them internally. Use revision. Close the file in your imagination. See the conversation ending the way you needed it to. 2. See the project completed. See the goal achieved. Your brain will release the tension whether the resolution is real or imagined. Number 5. Stop collecting new open files carelessly. Before you start anything new, ask yourself, am I willing to carry this open file until it is resolved? If the answer is no, do not start. Every new commitment is a new open file. Be selective. Number 6. Use cliffhangers intentionally. When you are doing creative work, stop at the most interesting point. When you are reading a book, stop in the middle of a chapter. When you are learning a new skill, stop right after a breakthrough moment. Leave yourself wanting more. The Zeigarnik Effect will ensure you return. Here is what will try to stop you. First, the urge to finish everything now. This is the productivity trap. You think finishing is the goal. It is not. Momentum is the goal. The Zeigarnik Effect creates momentum. Use it. Do not override it by forcing completion. Second, the anxiety of leaving things incomplete. This feels wrong. It feels like procrastination dressed up as strategy. Push through that feeling. It is your old programming fighting the new approach. Third, the temptation to start too many things at once. The Zeigarnik Effect works best when you have a manageable number of open files. If you have 50, the tension becomes overwhelming and nothing gets done. Keep your open files to 5 or fewer at any given time. Fourth, the resistance to closing files permanently. You might feel guilty about abandoning a project. You might feel like a quitter, but closing a file that does not serve you is not quitting. It is focus. It is the recognition that your mental bandwidth is finite and you choose where to spend it. Here is the 7-day challenge. Day 1. List every open file in your mind. Write them all down. Do not filter. Do not judge. Just capture. Day 2. Categorize them. Finish. Delete. Defer. Be ruthless with the delete category. Day 3. Take 3 files from the finish category and do not complete them. Start them. Work on each for 15 minutes. Then stop. Leave them open. Day 4. Take 1 file from the unresolved category and resolve it internally. Use revision. Close the file in your imagination. Day 5. Notice how much mental energy you have recovered. The files you deleted and deferred should already feel lighter. The files you started but did not finish should be pulling at you. Day 6. Return to the 3 files you started on day 3. Notice how easy it is to pick them up. The Zeigarnik Effect has been working for you while you were away. Day 7. Reflect. How many open files are you still carrying? How many did you close? How much lighter does your mind feel? The Zeigarnik Effect is not a productivity hack. It is not a time management system. It is a fundamental principle of how your brain processes reality. It is the reason you remember, the reason you forget, the reason you lie awake, and the reason you feel pulled toward completion. You have been fighting this force your entire life. You have been calling yourself names for being exhausted by open loops. You have been pushing yourself to finish everything, not realizing that the push itself is what drains you. Stop pushing, start opening, and let your own brain do what it was designed to do. Your mind is not broken. It is working exactly as it should. The only thing that was broken was your understanding of how it works. Now you know. Close the files that do not matter. Open the ones that do, and let the tension of incompletion pull you toward the life you were always meant to live. Because the file has been open, and now you know how to close it.